Maria. All right, we sound good. So this one goes, marriage is a scam. My own horror story. Did you hear that one, honey?
Oh, I heard it.
You did? You ready for this?
You gaslighting me right now?
I'm gaslighting you. All right, we got Ashley sitting in today, my little sugar thing.
Hello.
All right, let's get this going, though. This should be fun.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I made it back outside finally. It looks like the temperatures were on the rise for a little bit.
Yeah.
We got more cold temperatures coming next week, but I guess that's just the way and the nature of it when you got kind of the polar vortex they're talking about. Today, I wanted to delve into a little bit more personal stuff, sort of a warning.
Okay, first, now that we got the weather out of the way. My bad. Okay. All right, here we are. Steve James. Let him roll.
For those of you who don't really understand the nature of marriage, especially in the Western world today, and I'm going to delve into my experience and my story quite a bit deeper. For warning, this is a bit of a horror story, and you are going to be reeling from it and probably hiding under your covers by the time I'm done telling you everything, but here goes. As most of you know, there is a huge amount of divorce happening. The rate of divorce is somewhere between 50 and 60%, depending on which numbers you look at. And a lot of people are getting divorced because initially the woman files for divorce 70 to 80% of the time. Simply.
I know.
You,
I'm a bitch.
You bitch. I'm gonna
How dare I?
kick you in the head. Sorry. Anyways, back to Steve James. That's a good name. That's like a Bible name.
Two first names.
Two first names.
Because our society is completely falling apart and it's encouraging people to break up families over literally nothing, go chasing after your dreams, break up everything and ruin your life. Well, I have a personal horror story that will kind of explain a little bit of my motivation even for starting my YouTube channels and especially this one, and kind of fill you in on my background to a certain degree. I went through a divorce. I was married years ago, had kids when I was young, and I know I've been told I look a little younger than I actually am. I'm in my mid to late 40s. I don't like to give too much identifying information. You just, my name's Steve, and that's where I'm at.
Smart.
To get right into it,
I think he's going somewhere. Okay, this video has 147,000 views and 7,000 comments, so I think it's coming. It's safe to say. Just saying.
Through a divorce, they ended up, after everything was happening, they ended up giving her alimony. She wanted to file with the court to get alimony. There were several things that were really in the way of it that I attempted to protest. She was living with a man, very likely pregnant with his child at the time, and doing stuff together on bank accounts, and even the following year filing their taxes together, even though she was legally married to me.
What the
Still going through the divorce.
What's with this broad?
She got alimony. She
was filing for alimony.
No, I think he just said she got it.
But she can't have alimony until they're divorced. They're still legally married, and she's living with this other guy, probably pregnant, and filing her taxes with him.
They're definitely doing the hokey pokey, letting it all hang out. We both know this. Fucking
Jesus. What is wrong with people?
You pulled.
I know.
You guys.
I'm a representation of all women. I understand.
You really are. And
it's okay. I'm sure we'll watch something where you get to be the bad guy.
We're gonna have a big fucking talk. This is not good.
As time went on, I eventually got a hold of an attorney who was able to help me with it, but part of the reason why I had to is that when I initially protested all of this, the judge looked right at me and said, well, you can't just come in here and say that you think she's living with this other person and involved in a romantic relationship. You're going to have to provide some kind of evidence and proof, which led me to go through multiple different attorneys until somebody wasn't shaking in their boots and actually would take this on to fight it. To get to that point, we eventually I found a good attorney that was willing to do that. We got a hold of a private investigator, got a hold of the information, but as you know, in the court system, sometimes you can be waiting for 6, 8, 10 months for a court date to get something in front of a judge and get something addressed. After a few years, finally towards the end of the divorce, and after they were likely going to determine that I owed some sort of debt, which unfortunately where I live, debts cannot just be vacated afterwards. So she essentially can potentially get cash and prizes even if caught lying. Now, my attorney warned me that's probably what's going to happen. He said, we're going to get in there, we're going to have the private investigator's evidence, we're going to have all this evidence against her, and even when she gets caught lying, they aren't going to do a thing about it. She'll be caught committing perjury and fraud personally against you and having manipulated the court system, and they're not going to do anything about it. They're just going to strip it from here on forward. And I was like, wait a minute, so I'm going to owe a debt even though she is being forced to admit and proven with evidence that she lied about it all? And he was like, yep. And he goes, you're going to hate the system after that. And I did. How can you? How can you support that level of corruption?
Well, that's a big reason why most cats, especially dudes, are kind of like, you know, when I first met Ashley, let me get her in here. I keep forgetting you're here. That's our relationship. But I told her I was like, I don't really know about the paperwork situation with marriage. You know what I mean? I was kind of, but this is the kind of shit though that happens. Like, imagine a dude. I don't know how many dudes successfully pull that off and get alimony from the chick. So like, flip the position around.
I don't know if he could get alimony because technically I believe alimony is owed by, so like if one spouse makes significantly more than the other, or one spouse does not work at all and is a homemaker, that's when alimony is typically applied, is to make up the difference of lifestyle, especially with kids, to be able to afford to take care of the children and keep a consistent lifestyle.
Okay, that makes sense. But like, let me put it to you this way. Imagine you're making you're the cat's tits, right? You're baking the bread.
Are you saying I'm not the cat's tits?
You are the cat's tits. But let's say you got the keys to the bakery. You're making all the money. Yeah. Okay.
Not for me.
And I'm chilling. I'm just hanging out. I'm Mr. Mom.
Sorry, I don't date bums.
Will you just let me talk? I'm hanging out. I'm the home keeper, right? You're making big dollars. All of a sudden, I decide, as a man, that I want to go out. I'm over it. I want a divorce. I'm already shacking with some chick down at the Holiday Inn, right? We're doing our taxes together, me and this other broad. And then I come to you through the court system, and I want money every month for life. How you gonna feel about that?
I mean, the same way that guy feels. I think any human being should have the same feeling, unless you're just a selfish, person, which clearly this person is.
But there's a lot of this. That's the fucked up part.
I know, but I think there's a lot both ways. But I understand from the man, it's typically the man's the breadwinner, and this is what they're scared of happening. Yeah. Which I can't blame them.
No, you can't. Anyways, back to Steve James. This is pretty gnarly stuff, though. I'm not saying this guy's perfect. Steve James, it sounds too good to be true. I'm not saying this guy is the man. He's done no ill will. I don't want to say that. But it's probably the woman's fault. I'm just kidding.
Somebody's sleeping outside tonight.
Joking.
So we got in there. Yes, she got convicted of alimony fraud, essentially. They stripped her of any further alimony payments. They weren't able to vacate the old debt because certain, I guess you could say, feminist laws have taken place here where they kind of contradict common sense, that if somebody gets caught committing fraud, they shouldn't be able to benefit or profit from it. But the way that it was structured and set up, there's a division of support enforcement that handles things like everything from child support to other things, and they were the ones that would eventually take on this debt and then come after me to make me pay it. Which means I am paying for somebody to live with another person, have children with them, live a whole life with them, and I can't really do much of anything about it. I might be able to file a personal lawsuit. And this is when the story gets very, very crazy.
Oh, it gets worse.
My attorney had figured out by looking at the laws and everything that was arranged where I live, and we were preparing to do all of that and also use it on the basis of the grounds that not only did she have children with the guy that we could prove, She had filed taxes jointly together with him, which showed that they were obviously tied together, that her name was on his bank accounts. And on top of all of that...
Oh, this chick's good.
Well, I wonder what state he lives in, because I know like a lot of these laws differ by states, and some are very like pro woman, like basically the woman could do anything and still win something. So I wonder if he's in like one of those states. But I also feel like maybe his lawyer's not doing a very good job at lawyering.
At lawyering. No.
Just saying. Like, come on.
I would drop kick you. No, but we know what state of mind the woman's in. That's for sure.
Hustle and bustle, baby.
She's out there. She's
cranking and spanking.
Not just one dude. Oh, no.
She's collecting.
2 dudes.
She's out there
she's
collecting.
good. She knows what she's up to.
Says, I push it out, I collect.
Give me that money. But he says it gets crazier, though. This is a big reason why a lot of cats, and even women, though, too, right? Like, how many of your friends, I'm in my early 30s, but how many of your friends are still single, no kids, like not ready for commitment?
I have that, but I also have friends who have their own horror story of divorce too. Like a good single mom, she was living with this guy, they were married, had a child, and she didn't work, she took care of the child, and he has a military background, he's hid money, she can't get anything, she has to have him text through an app just so the court can see when he doesn't like do things legally, and she's the nicest person.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She's the nicest person. She's a good mom. And this poor child is stuck in this. And so is she. She's stuck in hell because he's literally taken her to court so many times just to break her. And she doesn't have any, she already didn't have any money. She didn't get anything out of the divorce.
Yeah, so that's one of the circumstances where the woman actually didn't come after like this guy, James
she
here,
just
Steve
just
here.
wants child support to be able to buy things for her son and not have to try to work.
But wasn't his choice though too to like
he was cheating on her?
Yeah, okay, there you go.
He was cheating on her.
All right, well that's a different circumstance, but yeah, I don't want to say it's just women doing this to the men. It's crazy.
There are horrible people out there. Period.
Yeah.
They're just shitty people.
True.
And you should really think really long and hard about who you're about to spend your life with and what they're capable of.
Yeah, like we thought about it really all the way through. We met within 3 months. You moved in. And I think that's an appropriate...
To be fair, though, we've known each other for like 20 years. We spent a lot of time
we've known
as
each
friends.
other a long time. We've known each other literally almost 20 years.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. The point is like...
I mean, we're still crazy.
But the people who get married young, though, this seems to be happening to them. So I feel like that's why people are waiting.
That's the other thing. We're in our 30s.
Yeah, we've waited.
We've done
We've had the sex. We've
relationships.
had the party. We've been down and out in East Wyoming. I know I have.
I've never been to Wyoming.
I haven't either. Anyways, back to James here. But we've been through the ringer already.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's good for people, honestly, because a lot of cats want it.
Learn.
They want it young, and I'm
well,
like,
you can think you want something and then realize you don't because of what it really looks like, right?
Yeah.
You like an idea sounds really good, and then you live it, and you're like, oh, I guess this isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe there are things that are more important in a relationship.
yeah, like I couldn't imagine still being with the same chick from when I was 21.
Oh God, no.
I couldn't imagine.
Oh my God, I wish I could erase my 20s relationships. Sorry, but they were really bad.
I should write some of them a thank you note, though. Honestly, they really, I learned a lot from them.
Thanks for ruining my life for so long that I finally figured out what I deserve.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Now I have to deal with it. Anyways, I'm just
welcome.
joking. Steve James. This apparently it gets worse though.
On top of all of that, they had. They had been living together pretty much the whole time, and she even had to admit to it in court. Well, it gets crazy because he and several other attorneys that have been fighting for cases like this and trying to, as they win each case, it sets a precedent. I end up getting a message from somebody one weekend saying, your attorney's missing. And
No.
What?
it was just a friend, a buddy of mine on Facebook. I go and look, and there's this poster that's being shared digitally and shared all across social media saying, yeah, he just went missing this weekend. And, now he's mysteriously dead.
What?
I'm not even kidding. This sounds like something out of a you know, some novel like The Firm or something where
That's a good
lawyers
movie.
are ending up dead. And two other attorneys over the last year and a half, around that same time, one of which had been fighting similar cases like this, ended up dead from a hit and run that they never figured out who did it. Which, all of that was incredibly disturbing. The attorney at that point, I had known him for years. He was engaged to be married. He had been married before. He was engaged to be married to another woman. And it was never officially determined what the cause of death was. A couple people whispered about suicide. I had a very, very hard time believing in that. Put me back to a point to where now I'm stuck without any attorney because I can't find anybody willing to actually investigate and fight this. They pretty much shy away from me the minute I tell them who my attorney was and tell them anything about it. And all sorts of strange stuff that's happened with all of that.
What the fuck is going on in this
This is
video?
turning from like a marriage horror story to like a whole
This is
conspiracy,
like a movie, dude.
plot, mob, murder, lawyer shit.
This is a legit movie.
Honestly, I can't wait. I bet we see the rights.
We
for
gotta
Netflix
see that. We
soon.
gotta see this one. I mean, dude, it starts out a woman in the house. She's shagging and bagging what you think is just her boyfriend. No, that's the side guy. She's still married. All of a sudden, she's on the phone with the new dude in bed. She's on the phone with her lawyer going, take everything he's got. Boom. That's how the movie just sets the tone, right? Bam. You're hooked in. Boom. Lawyer. Hit and run. Dead. This is why men don't trust women anymore. I'm just kidding. All right. Back to Steve. This is nuts.
Just, oh man, I could go into it like records that people can't seem to find about previous court dates and other things like that that should be readily available, yet nobody can really locate. So it is pretty much a horror story confirming my ultimate point of this video that generally speaking, marriage is just a sham. Marriage is just completely a racket that ends up raking you completely over the coals, and you need to be very, very careful, tread lightly. In all my court dates and the stuff of dealing with attorneys that I now know way more about than I would ever really want to know, I will tell you that prenuptial agreements get thrown out like crazy. They don't care. They will just toss your prenuptial agreement. You'll be stuck owing
That's
for all
such
sorts of different
horseshit.
bills
I'm
and
sorry,
things. And
but
if you are
you can't. Again, we don't know what state he's in, what county, what kind of jurisdiction. If he's in some small BFE town, which it looks like he might be, maybe they get away with this shit. But I will tell you, out of a lot of people I know who have gotten divorced, they don't just toss your prenup out like, oh, what's this? Oh, fuck it. Bye-bye.
They don't? They don't?
No, apparently it's like a real legal document. And most people will advise you to get a prenup, not to be like you can't have money, but so if you pass away, like your family's taken care of.
Okay, here's where he's going with it, though, is what I look at it from both sides. But the court system, this is designed so that if me and you were to sign some paperwork, right? We sign a marriage certificate. Now, in order for us to break that, we're paying money.
I understand.
So regardless as if it's only a little bit or a lot.
I understand.
So,
but we're talking, I mean, he's saying they're throwing out the prenup. They're not doing.
Yeah, people are dying in this situation.
Maybe, maybe. Yeah, exactly. People
Yeah,
are dying.
people are
Lawyers
dead.
are just popping up. Like, okay,
Yeah.
come on. I'd like to see that happen every single day with every single lawyer.
No,
you
yeah,
know, this
nobody
is
would be a
not a
lawyer.
common case.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, if you're working out of somewhere, I mean, there's corruption everywhere, right? Like we saw it with Jeffrey Epstein here. We saw it in Miami with the cocaine cowboys. I mean, there's corruption everywhere, right? On every level. But like, you can't tell me every single divorce is going this way.
Okay.
Or even 10% of divorces are going this way.
All right, let's actually look it up. That's actually a
What's
good.
the statistic?
Let's
What's
get
the
deep.
statistic
Let's get in
of
here.
how many divorces get murdered and...
No. We need to know. We need to know. We'll end on this note. We'll get into some comments too here. What percent should I say? What percent of women get, let's say, alimony? I don't know how to spell.
After divorce.
Alimony or child support
Well, you can only get child support if you have children and you have
after
custody.
divorce. I can't spell for shit. I apologize, guys. Okay. According to the most recent data, around 10% of divorce cases in the United States involve alimony, regardless of gender, meaning that roughly 10% of women would receive alimony after divorce. Okay, that's, it's not as much as you would think, but this percent's significantly lower than the past, where alimony was awarded in around 25% of divorce cases. Okay, so in other words, fucking 25% of the time.
No, 10%.
In the past, it was 25%.
Okay, but this is not, we're talking now.
I know, but less and less people are getting married. Like, you gotta, like, this is...
That's still fine, but there's more divorce rates than ever. So
Well,
the divorce rate's higher than it's ever been.
All right, well, okay, all right, how about this? How about this? Let's say they own a house. How many women keep the house after
But
divorce?
most of the time, when a woman gets the house, most of the time, I've seen that that's the trade. She gets no alimony.
Okay. While there is no exact statistic on the percentage of women who keep the house after divorce, data shows that a significant number of single women own homes, often exceeding the rate of single men, suggesting that many women do retain the marital home following a divorce.
And that's usually to keep consistency for the children.
However, this depends heavily on the individual circumstances. Yeah, the only way the woman really doesn't get any money is she's a real fuck up, or she doesn't keep the kids. You got to be a real, a down low drug addict.
No, my friend, she didn't get money.
No, but I'm saying, like, to not get the kids, or so, for instance, my parents got divorced, mom got the house. My cousin,
right, that's
my
my
aunts
point,
and uncles, aunts got the house.
Oftentimes the divorce,
You
if
name
the woman
it.
gets the house, that's her payment. She gets to keep the house instead of getting assets or alimony. And then
The house
a lot
is-
of that is usually too, if they have children, to keep kind of some consistency for the children.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you. Okay. Yeah, you're right. The point is this is what men. This story here, aside from lawyers dying, this is what guys. This is what a lot of guys think of, and they get scared.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of women who feel that
They get scared. Like,
they're
even me.
trapped, and that they'll be in the situation my girlfriend's in and be a good parent and just want to do the right thing and just be able to provide for the child and be free of this other person. Let them do whatever they want. Just stop making the child suffer because they don't want to pay money to the mom to take care of the child.
I think it goes back and forth. This is why kind of both, like, why aren't people getting married or having kids aside from everything being expensive? I think this right here, not this exact story, but just the way that
people are nasty.
Overnight,
people
it could just
flip.
Just fuck you. Just like that. We're done.
How do you reach a point where you don't respect the person? Like, and that's why I say I think that a lot of people, when they go into marriage, like, I wonder if they're really evaluating the person that they're marrying and if their values are really aligned and, where the respect kind of goes. Because between both my parents, I went through like 3 marriages and divorces.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
By the time I was 10. And so I was always like, I'm not going to get married for the sake of it. I was like, I want to be with someone. I want to partner with someone, but I want someone who's my best friend and
right there. Give me some. Right
what's
there.
up?
I'm gonna grab
But,
my ass
I've been really like, I think that you just have to really believe that the person you're marrying, if God forbid, if it came to it, like Jack, if we got married and we got divorced, which I don't think would ever happen, but if it did, like, I don't think ours would be nasty.
I don't think
we
lawyers would die.
Yeah, well, no. Definitely, hopefully.
Well, like, for instance, let me paint you a perspective, right? My parents, hold on, let me switch. Let me go full screen here. Like, my parents, they divorced super chill. Like, it wasn't like a big deal. Like, my mom wanted my dad to be good. My dad wanted my mom to be good. She got the house, by the way. She got both houses. Well, they fucked those up, but still. They didn't really get any money, but at least my mom was able to get a little bit of money for herself, and then she ended up in, like, a very small house. Whatever, 2008. But when I hear about your parents going through 2-3 divorces, You know, some of my friends, like nasty shit, dude. Like friends had to live with grandparents because that's how bad the divorce was. And but that right there, kind of like a psychological warfare, and it also makes it normal now. It's normal now to get divorced. It's normal now to be a single mom.
And I think
everybody's doing it. It's the classic tale.
Well, I think that's the big change too from back before. Like people got married and it was a lifelong commitment. There wasn't, you figured out how to solve things. And granted, I do think that a lot of people should get divorced, mainly because I think that they probably should have never got married to begin with, and they shouldn't be together. It's just not healthy. But if you can't if you can go into something in with joy and excitement and mutual respect, and you can't exit it the same way or exit it with at least mutual respect, or if there's children involved, like how do we do this in the best way for the kids, forget our own feelings, like what's the best thing we can do for our children, then like you shouldn't be going into it. Forget it. Stop doing it. Just live together and play house. Why do you got to have a certificate?
I think a big
Why you got to make it messy?
I think a big part of it is the jumping into it aspect just too soon. Honestly, I think that's kind of the biggest one. I mean, but the divorce thing, the single mom thing, it's the classic tale of why'd the chicken cross the road? Everybody else was doing it. Anyway, let's get into some comments here.
There was one there. Interested.
Okay, this person goes, forget the genders and all that. Remember this. Legal marriage is a contract that one party, the one who earns the least, is encouraged to break, and the other party, who makes the most, gives away all their rights when they sign that contract. So to men and women, if you are in a relationship and you make more than the other person, you had better think long and hard about our legal system punishing whoever earns the most. What does that say?
In virtually any contract dispute.
Yeah, in virtually any contract dispute, keep in mind before signing any contract, especially a marriage one.
Again, I agree. Like, marriage is a contract. You need to know what your contract is. And at the end of the day, it's who the fuck has the better lawyer and what laws in that state or county are on your side.
Yeah, and generally, it is made so that women, because, when these laws were made, most women weren't the head of the household. So it was in favor.
The homemakers.
Yeah, so that makes, but that still holds up, even though, but I do think they're right. I live in Australia. You don't have to be married. If you're partners for at least 7 months or more, they're entitled to half your assets. Shut the fuck up.
I know there's a common
go
law
down
at
order.
Go down. In some states in the US for 7 years.
No, in like 10 states,
months.
There's common law marriage.
But it's 7 years, not 7 months.
Yeah. I have been married for nearly 40 years and have half as many. 40 years as half many.
Have many of my friends.
Can you read that?
I've been married nearly 40 years, as have many of my friends. Have there been ups and downs? Yes. Have we determined to sort things out? Absolutely. Without God in your marriage, it's very difficult. I'm sorry for your experience, but that's your experience. Not everyone is difficult or not everyone is deceitful and unfaithful.
Yeah, that's true. One look at you, and I know why you can't find a mate. What?
All right.
That's fucking okay, dude. I thought he looked pretty decent. I'm not gay or anything. I don't like men, but he looked like a good-looking guy. I don't believe in marriage. Is the issue? It's the justice. It's the justice system.
Here's a good one down here.
Where?
People need to wake up. Marriage isn't natural. It's not nature or what nature intended. When 60% get divorced and the other 40% are forced to stay married for financial reasons, even though they don't want to. You don't think billionaires like Musk and Bezos don't get divorced? Wake up. You're supposed to live with a person, have kids, but not married. They move to another person several times throughout your life. This is what nature intended, but the corporate world don't like that because married couples make businesses and government money, and unmarried couples don't. Okay.
All right. You know what? We're gonna end on that. No, I think honestly, shout out to this dude. I'll leave his information down below. You can finish the rest of the video. But honestly, I think it's a good thing that people are waiting till their 30s to get married. You
should wait. There's no need.
Like think about how many people have been married 2, 3, 4 times.
I know someone.
I know a few people. My parents were on their second marriage when they had me. All my aunts and uncles, well, besides one, all second marriages. And it's become It's the classic business model of modern society. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Shout out to this dude. We're going to hang it up. This was a bit much, but no one's safe out here.